What's going on? Yeah, you notice this trip. It's time to go down the lane with another trip. So, what is the difference between someone that has a fair color skin? So, let's say you have someone that lives in, um, let's say Spain, and let's say you have someone that lives down in Tijuana, or you have someone that lives in Japan or China or Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, Syria. They seem to have, there's different colors, no doubt, all beautiful, all equal, but there's a certain middle color that you could call, um, falls in the same category as what in America is called biracial. Sometimes they can even go further into, calling them um, mixed, right? Mixed. People at school, hey, what are you? They'll learn to say, well, I'm mixed, because my daddy black, my mama white, or my mama's black, my daddy's white, right? So I'm mixed. Okay, but what's the difference between every other group that I just said? The only difference is the way they speak. It's the dialect. It's the communities that they're in. It's the only difference. The color is the same. You could virtually say that a light shade of brown is fairly consistent throughout the whole world. Wouldn't you say that? So if that be the case, and it's just language and it's just cultures that are separating all of this, and why is it that everyone is fighting over this? Why is everyone still separating each other when you look at each other and really you could be your own brothers and sisters to begin with? Could it be that you are believing that a certain cast of people are telling you that the lighter that you are, the more special you are? Or could it be the very opposite, that the darker you are, the worse that you are? The lower on the totem pole you will ever be because you are darker. And so you aspire to be lighter because that is the best. Now, again, I ask, what's going on, Robbie? What's the difference? What is the difference? We know that if you take this scenario and you expand your mind and stop living today, but go back, you will understand that if you have a middle shade color, take me for example, fair skin, middle shade, where did that middle shade come from? It had to come from a combination of something, someone of a darker skin, someone of a pale skin, to combine this, right? Now, if you go all the way back and you go to the sub-Saharan regions, you will always see very, very, very dark-skinned people. Very dark-skinned people. All right, because the melanation is high, the climate, you need to have the dark skin to protect from the sun, the nutrients. You need this, correct? So if if that is the case, if that's the case, then wouldn't you say that a fair hypothesis is that at some point, either, okay, so I'll go both ways. Either everyone was very, very dark, which that makes sense because science is telling us that. They have actually done studies on that, where you take the very, very dark melatonin and you put it in, and it get you a variety of colors. Whereas if you come out with no color, then you stay in that range. It doesn't produce more. So I was going to say is that what makes sense is that just going to be you start out with dark skin and then you turn into all of these beautiful colors, or do you just start out with a pale skin and pale skin only? What will happen is the pale skin, it can adapt, right? So because we see people that get very, very tanned and can get fairly dark during the summertime. They have to suffer quite a bit to get to that level, do a lot of outdoors work. But if you understand and notice, that trait does not pass down to where their next child or their grandchild is now passed with the gene that is full of melanin. So that would throw that theory out. And so the real theory is that you started out as dark, and then now there is a middle ground. And with that, there seems to be a big movement to push everything dark into darkness, everything light into the light. Again, my mom used to tell me that, there used to be the old saying that if you're black, stay back. If you're white, hang around. Or if you're white, you're all right. If you're brown, you can hang around. Now, to me, mostly there is what you would consider all around the world, not just the United States, is a mixture of people. It's a mixture of all kinds of genetics that have compiled to what you are today. So again, I say, what is the difference? What's the problem? If you know, if you know somewhere down inside that you have a little bit of everything in you from your genesis, then shouldn't you be proud of that instead of hiding it, instead of destroying it, instead of keeping it under a vault with a lock and key? I mean, really, why? What's the need to do all of that? We know that that's part of an agenda. We know that that's part of an agenda, but that's only used for people that want to control, people that want to maintain superiority over another. That doesn't have to be you. Why would you ever want to follow something? It's just like the Europeans that separated from the colonists that separated from Europe. They came over here to get away from the ridiculousness of the crown, the taxes and everything else. And then when they came over here, they started to exploit other people. Now, that is the sickness that continues to go on because now they broke away and became free. And now they followed, it's almost like genetically they followed everything that they were brainwashed to do. And now they are in charge. And so they can do whatever they want to do. What is that? That is a trait of domination. That is a trait to be above someone else so that you can feel better about yourself and you can look down upon others. That gives you comfort to be able to say, hey, I didn't go to jail today. Do you see that fool over there? Oh, they ain't nothing because look what they did. See, we have to remember we're all connected, whether you understand it right now or not. We are all beautiful beings, whether you are pale, whether you are middle, or whether you are dark. We're all one family. We have to get that through our head. And then we can understand that the elite or the so-called one percenters that are in charge right now, we can understand the manipulation that is being played upon us. They are playing the middle against the middle. They are playing you against yourself. Do you understand that you are fighting literally yourself? Every one of you are fighting yourselves. I know this personally because I have a cousin who is 2 years older than me. Uh, Name is Clay Casey. Lived in Los Angeles for a long period of time after he moved out of Michigan, right out of high school. And he started messing around, hanging with certain people and doing what he had to do at the time and place. And he lived a lifestyle that he wanted to live. Well, it bumped heads with another group of people of color. So he bumped heads being a fair skin. I call it uh, the middle. He's fair skin. And he bumped into the other fair skinned people who would consider themselves Latino. And they fight amongst each other. They fight amongst each other over and over, and they kill each other over and over. And they do not really realize that you are brothers and sisters. You are brothers and sisters. The only thing that's separating you is language, culture. That's it. And we can learn about languages and culture. That's something that anybody, that if they want to take the time to do, they can do it. But for it to um, you to go out and bear arms against another person that is you, that is that could be your sister, that could be your aunt, your brother, your daddy, your uncle. Do you know that that is wrong? Do you know that that is a sickness that we have to deal with? That is a sickness that is something that you are believing from another high um, 1% people that are influencing the very way that you think about yourself and about the middle road. The middle road should be simple. The middle road should be the one it's traveled the most, and it's the one that's got us separated in the first place. Why would you ever fall for that? Why wouldn't you just sit back and say, you know what? You know what? We're all being tricked and deceived by the same culprit. We're all being controlled by the same culprit. And all arrows always go back to governments, religion, financial institutions, powerful elite, every time. Now, what can you do to wake people up? You know what you do? You get involved in their cause. Get involved in their supposed cause. So, in other words, if you see that people are being attacked because of so called immigration laws that don't make any fucking sense, because, like I said, borders are imaginary, and you are seeing this, then maybe you need to be right there standing with them with a sign. And maybe you'll get some looks at first, but maybe you need to go down there every day that they have this rally and show your support, and start with little things like that. Put your face out there, put your energy out there, put your vibe out there, and start to see how many will connect with you because of the act that you just did. And I call upon others to do the same type of thing. Talking about who's oppressed or who's oppressed more is not going to help us. All it's going to do is help divide and keep us concentrated on yourselves. And that is fighting amongst yourselves. And if you can't see the magic trick that's being played upon you like that, then you don't understand anything about the dynamics of superpower and super control, and who has it and who doesn't have it. It's an illusion. And the illusion it's a mirage that's floating all over you, everywhere you go. So, again, what's the difference? My brothers in Asia, I love you. Brothers and sisters that's in Morocco, that's in China, that's in Japan, that's in England, that's in Russia, that's in Czech, Latinos, Europeans, all of us are one. Anonymous is one. Do you see anybody else talking about that too much? About oneness? So, wouldn't you want to be connected to something and someone, an ideal that is talking about togetherness, that is talking about holding hands, that's talking about getting back your God given rights? What do you think? Open for discussion. Yes, thank you, Robbie. I've been trying to wake these people up around me. They think I'm crazy. Yes. What? Look, violence is going to cause more violence. So, and they know that it's a spiral effect. They know that if they spin a certain news a certain way, the mainstream media, what they will do is they will sit back and watch the gun shots fly. They know that if they spin news, they get somebody riled up, or they infiltrate by way of the CIA, then they know they got you. All they have to do is say, six Latinos killed, uh, one innocent African American. Let's just say that term, even though I don't use these terms, right? When really, if you really look at it, y'all all are the same. No one can prove me otherwise. I don't care about any other frivolous debate. I'm looking at straight up science facts. And the facts are no matter what, you're human, you're one, you just have different shades. And I see beauty in every color there is. But guess what? You have a you have an agenda that's been obviously being played out again and again and again, trying to show you what beauty is like and what it's supposed to be, and this is the way you should be. And anything other than that is ugly. Learn how you're being controlled. Learn how you're being manipulated, family, and then you will understand and fully grasp what I am saying. Most of you are here. There's not many here right now. Again, beginning channel all over again. That's fine. I like it this way. I like it this way. So the difference is that you are being tricked and deceived. That's the difference. Maybe maybe enough people will start to see these messages and realize with compassion and walk right up to you, whatever color you may be, and give you a great big hug and say, you know what? You're my brother. You're my sister with nothing but love. That's what I'm looking for. And once we get to that level, then you can do everything else that you want to do because you will destroy the matrix. You will destroy that construct that has you in a box. Until then, you're going to remain in the matrix and you're going to remain in the coffin. You are going to legally and literally still be dead. All right? Love you, family.